As someone who lives and breathes college football, I can promise you that this season will bring the mayhem. You'll feel it during huge wins and heartbreaking losses, on game-winning drives, or on drives that end in a post-game fender bender. This season, I'm teaming up with Allstate to highlight these key moments to let fans know if mayhem can show up on game day, imagine what can happen the rest of the week.
For expert advice, call your local agent today.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the day. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen versus everybody.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage, on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
Please go out and buy all Beastie Boys projects.
We're Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
Jalen, I got a lot of tweets saying that we shouldn't change the intro.
Nope.
And you know what hasn't changed? My opinion. We should change the intro. We should change the intro. I want Jalen and Jacoby to be listened to by as many people as possible on all platforms. Man. And if we got to change the intro to get on Spotify, then we should change the intro. The intro's 20 seconds of the show. The show's an hour long.
Jacoby, we've talked.
We would get into content quicker. We would get into content quicker. So when you start listening to the show, you don't have to listen to you yell and the Beastie Boys holler about this and me said my name. You know our names. When you click on Jalen and Jacoby, you know what you're listening to. You know what you're listening to.
It's important that you take the pulse of the people. Mm-hmm. Okay? First and foremost. Okay. Because our motto is giving the people what they want. We joke about selling out and going mainstream, but we've still kept an organic audience that's followed us through the pod over 7 years. That's first and foremost.
Of course, I understand that.
The second thing I want you to do is to not underestimate the people that we have, worrying about chasing the people that we may not have. We've always been the show that said we're not the 50,000 seat concert. Okay. We're probably not Kanye, Trump, but guess who we are? We're Kendrick, we're J. Cole. They bubbled, and before you know it, they never sold out, and boom, they blew up and got towards the number one spot.
Okay,
that's how I feel about our program.
I understand how you feel about the program, Jalen.
Number
that
three,
has nothing to do with what I'm discussing.
I gotta say I've seen people say that we're not only on Spotify, but some people probably said we weren't on Google Play.
We would know these things if we listened to our own podcast, but we don't.
But it's important that our organic audience feels special.
But then, dog, we don't make it hard, so we didn't make it hard for people to listen to. That's the stance you are. Like, yo, we don't play for arenas. We're like a smaller act that plays in a smaller venue. But that doesn't mean we're not trying to keep the podcast from people.
I didn't say we were a smaller act. See, that's different.
Jalen, you're not discussing what I'm discussing. What I'm
discussing
You're
discussing changing the intro, and I'm telling you reasons why we should.
We want to give people what they want. We want to be available to people that makes it most convenient for them to listen to our podcast. Okay.
So
here's what it's convenient on Spotify.
Here's what I'm going to take the time and energy to do out of my day. And Reggie and Harlan, please tell me how you want me to execute it. I'm going to go and scour through my social media, in particular Twitter. And I should do something to acknowledge the people that say we shouldn't change. Should I retweet it? Should I quote tweet it?
No,
should I
do any of that.
What should I do?
Do you know what you should do? You shouldn't listen to the people on Twitter. Because you know, as I do, that's a warped world. That's a very vocal minority. How many times have you tweeted at Tony and Mike from PTI? How many times?
Never.
Does that mean you don't like the show? Does that mean you don't have opinions about them?
Well,
it just means that you just don't do that. So you're listening. You're making business decisions. You're making business decisions based on people that tweeted us. And I love the people that tweeted us. I love getting tweets. I love it. I love it. I really do. I'm not trying to diss people that tweeted us. What I'm saying is you have to understand that you have to follow your gut and not listen to the vocal minority.
You're dissing two things. You're dissing the people that tweet us.
No, I'm not. I love
and you're dissing the people that already listen to the program because you're trying to chase people that you feel like you want to be a part of our movement. Let them come to us.
Our show is Reg, how long is it now? Like 50 minutes, between 50 and 55 minutes. The intro's probably 15 seconds. People don't come for the intro. No one listens to the intro. Then
they do.
No one listens to the intro and then shuts off the show.
Is this the same guy that complained when I started to... Is this the guy that complained when I stopped singing? Is that you?
Yeah.
Is that you?
That was just you being lazy.
And when I stopped singing, what did the people say?
There was no strategy behind that.
What did the people say?
That was just you being lazy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just like you're being lazy now with the
I'm
Spotify.
not being lazy. I like the intro.
What did the people say when I stopped singing?
The intro. I'm just saying, like, I want us to be available to all people that want to listen to us.
We are available.
The family.
You know what we're available at? Jalen and Jacoby. We are available. Did you download Tidal?
No.
Okay. Do you still listen to Jay?
Yes.
Okay. My point exactly.
We shouldn't be hard to find. It shouldn't be hard to find.
Is Jay hard to find? Is B hard to find?
No.
Okay.
Well, for the first couple days.
Okay.
You know?
But then when you get there, you stick and stay. That's the audience we want.
I'm just saying. My opinion, my stance hasn't changed. Now, dude, I highly value all of the people that tweet at us and the people that support us, the people that call in.
No, you don't.
And I highly value all of my colleagues
no, you don't.
at the show. The Reggies, the Harlans, the Lisas, the
Curtis,
Kaylas, the John Curtises, the Alexes, the Tanners.
Shout out.
But you did
the Kates.
But don't try to fix it.
The Curtises.
See, this is the difference between.
And they said not to change the intro, so we haven't changed it. We're just discussing it on wax.
No. You almost made me write down some notes.
You've never written down notes. I tried to tell Jalen about one of the topics we're discussing today. He goes, "Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Ruin it."
No.
You're talking about don't ruin it.
No.
Prepare for the show.
My favorite artists have the ability to freestyle. Jay-Z, KRS-One. That's what I love about them. I want to hear the topic for the first time while the mic is hot. So I can deliver.
Lazy.
No, so I can deliver bars. But let's not get away from the point.
What's the point?
3 things that you did here.
Oh, okay. He's not going to remember all 3. Watch.
I should have wrote it down. 1, you diss the people that tweet us.
Never that.
You diss the people that already listen to the show because you want to chase Spotify audience.
False.
You dissed me because when I stopped singing, you complained. When I started back singing, you and the people wanted me to do it. And lastly, we got the best staff in the game. Okay. Now that we actually have a team that we can build around, we ain't about to make no knee-jerk moves. Nope. You don't do that.
It's not a knee-jerk move.
It is.
Jalen, do you want more people to listen to Jalen and Jacoby or less people to listen to Jalen and Jacoby?
Answer the question. I want cool people to listen to Jalen and Jacoby. Okay. I want people to give me pounds and give me head nods and scream, give the people what they want when they see me.
Already there.
That's what I want.
Already there.
Where do we meet?
Shooters, strokers?
Correct. Those are the people I want listening to the show. Okay. People that patronize adult entertainment establishments.
Shout out to strokers.
Shout out.
I'm so
Jacoby and I met at a strip club in Atlanta called Strokers.
I'm so glad executives don't listen to this show. They don't listen to the pod. This is the Too Hot for TV.
That was what, 2010?
Oh no, way before
2008?
Yeah. 2008, 2007.
Man, I wish I wasn't retired.
Something like that.
It's a shame what happened to Flip.
It's a shame what happened to Flip. It's Wednesday. What does that mean, Jalen Rose?
Hey! So now are you going to be the guy you want to take away Wednesdays now from the ladies? You want to do that next?
What are you talking about?
Are you going to be the guy sending emails like, why are we doing this on Wednesday?
I want more women to listen to the show. I want more women to call in. I want more women under the tent. So I want to be available on all platforms. I want more people to listen to the program. That's what I want. I don't know where your goals are. Your goals are to what? To be able to listen to Redman?
Yes!
That's your goal?
Yes! Correct! And by the way,
that's keeping people from us.
That's the greatest example you could have ever given me in life. And don't lie into the microphone. Who's your favorite artist?
Reggie.
Okay.
Shout out.
Reggie Noble.
Ding, ding, ding. The way you killed Family Feud and dropped the mic and walked off like Larry Bird and I choked when they asked me Saturday night. That's how I feel about this argument right now. I'm winning this in a landslide.
No, you're not. Answer this question.
Yes, sir.
Do you want more people to listen to Jalen and Jacoby or less people? Answer the question, dog. Just answer the question.
I want the same people to tell a friend to listen. That's what I prefer.
So that's more.
That's what I prefer.
If we were available on all platforms, more people would listen to Jalen and Jacoby.
We are available on all platforms. Google.
We're not. I think we're off Google Play.
Just Google us. Just Google Jalen and Jacoby. Where do I find the latest podcast? Just Google that. You gotta do a little work.
You gotta click on something.
You gotta do a little work.
You gotta click on something else. Another app comes up, and by that time, you're like, I'm gone.
Don't be that person. Don't give it up on the first night. Let them find you a little bit.
And so, like, you hear this beat underneath us right now. I came, I saw, la la la. We'd have to take that off. Gotta be production music.
Oh no, so we definitely not.
Gotta be production.
Oh no, we definitely not.
Gotta be production music.
Oh no.
It's gonna be like some whack fake.
I'm gonna tell you what this is becoming. Everybody that can hear my voice, listen up. I hope this ain't becoming like Dave Chappelle.
What? I'm gonna move to Africa?
What? Were they gonna try to force us to sell out? That's what this, because it's not happening. And y'all can play this recording for anybody that want to hear it. We ain't selling out.
I'll sell out real quick.
How much?
Real quick. There's a number for everybody.
We ain't selling out.
We could talk about football. We could talk about the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Will Spotify give us a check?
No. I don't think so, no.
Oh, we definitely ain't doing it. What? Are you serious?
All right, here's what I'm gonna do.
You don't love when Reg's like, you lying. That's what make our show dope.
Here's what I'm gonna do. No, here's what I think. I think we just have to scrub it of commercial music for like 3 weeks, and then once they stop paying attention, we put it all back in. That
happened with the pictures on the wall.
That's how you play the game.
No, and Harlan got mad at me. No, we're not doing
Harlan's
that.
still mad. Harlan doesn't let us run old clips from our old Grantland days.
We're not doing that.
Well, the pictures on the wall are not cleared. A couple of photographers reached out to us.
Right. The person that took the Jay-Z picture with the Dookie rope
we had to write some checks.
ESPN because I had a picture of Hove up on the wall.
It wasn't Hove. Not even anybody near Hove. Someone who clicked a picture of Hove.
You don't listen?
What?
That's why I love you. What? I said the person that took the picture.
I know, and I was backing you up, supporting you like a good co-host.
You said it wasn't Hove. Yeah. I never said it was Hove.
I'm supporting you. I'm backing you up, Jalen Rose. I'm selling you. That's what co-hosts do.
I appreciate that. Nice lob. Thank you.
God. Let's play a voicemail. I'm mad.
Hey, Jalen, Jacoby. I got to give a special shout out to Reg. He encouraged me via Twitter to leave this. So shout out, Reg. I have a question. Regional, cultural, or universal, spanking your kids. Now, this could be a don't get fired moment, so I don't want to know what y'all do with y'all kids. But are spankings or whoopings cultural, universal, or regional? Also, what about getting a switch from the tree? How does that go?
This is a don't get fired topic.
It is.
First of all.
And now, the don't get fired topic of the day.
Switch from the tree is regional.
Yes, no question.
Spanking your kids is universal.
Correct.
I'm walking down the street with all 3 of my kids. They're running all types of different directions. Chloe's running into traffic. Just straight up running into traffic. So gotta keep an eye on everybody. Quincy's mad because he wants to go to 7-Eleven because they sell Hot Wheels to 7-Eleven. He wants a Hot Wheel. But you can't just get a kid a toy every day. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how you treat kids. That's how you spoil kids. So I'm like, nah, dog, we're not getting a Hot Wheel. We're not even going into 7-Eleven. He gets mad.
My bad, Q. I gotta be a better uncle.
I'm in public.
Uncles can get them toys every day.
So then he puts his hand back, hits me in the stomach with a closed fist.
Good.
In public.
Great.
People are looking at me.
And that's cultural too.
You know, the first thing that crosses my mind.
Like, I should just lay him out right now.
I should just body slam him right in the concrete. That's the first thing.
Right.
No, judge me.
Don't
judge me for what I do.
First mind. Yeah.
Don't judge me for what I do. Don't judge me for what I think. Is what I should say.
Parent.
Don't judge me for what I think. Judge me for what I do.
Any parent, I gotta back you up here. Any parent that gets punched by their kid is going to have a physical reaction.
Yeah.
That they think about whether they move on it or not.
I didn't move on it, but that was the first thing that went through my mind.
Of course. You're a human being.
And me and my wife, we talk about our kids all the time. It's something we have in common. We're both very passionate about our children. And my wife was like, I think I'm going to start hitting the kids. I was like, whatever, do what you got to do. So who knows? We have not resorted to corporal punishment quite yet, but it's right there on the table. It's right there on the table.
So I agree. I agree with your cultural regional statements. I don't want to be a physical disciplinarian, but it's important to be.
Is it?
It is.
Yep.
And I don't mean like how it was when I grew up. It was brutally physical. And I'm not complaining or crying. I turned out great. But I have older brothers. So when I would do or say something stupid, it would be put your hands behind your back and they're going to punch you in the chest. They're going to blow in your chest out, cave in your chest in. That was a form of discipline. My grandmother, Mary Bell Hicks, love her to death. She's 101 years old. You ever meet anyone in my family, her whoopings, her spankings are family legend that everybody still talks about to this day.
People are very proud about getting beaten when they were a child. Have you noticed that?
That's the word.
People are very proud of it.
You know why?
Why?
Because you feel like it gave you character. It gave you endurance.
Did it though?
Yes, it did for me. See.
Okay.
Some people.
Have you ever spanked or hit your own children?
Yes. On the legs, on the backside, smack the hand when they're reaching for something that they shouldn't do, but not take off my belt, not close my fist. I don't curse. I don't get loud. But at the same time, you have to be stern. And physical discipline is a part of that. So I know that you guys are wrestling with the decision of whether you guys should, in particular, Q, because he's going to be first.
Oh, yeah. He's bad.
He's going to be first. He's the oldest. He's a boy.
It's exhausting to discipline because he's always hitting his sisters, and we have a no hit policy. Y'all get a timeout,
Correct.
automatic timeout if you hit.
No hit,
automatic
no tap, no punch.
Automatic timeout if you get hit, right?
Yep.
But it's just exhausting because sometimes he'll hit his sister or whatever. His sisters hit him, and I gotta be like, all right, and I gotta carry you upstairs and close the door and stand outside your room. And then what's happening while I'm doing that? The other two are hitting each other downstairs.
Right.
It's exhausting.
Because what ends up happening is whatever discipline it is, you still have to switch it up. Like, you may feel like you want to be the stern disciplinarian, go to your room type. Then after a while, it's like, go to my room, I'm gonna just play.
Yeah.
Or I can't go outside. Cool, I got technology, I got everything.
Oh, my daughter Chloe, she's like the Joker. I'm like, you're getting a timeout. She looks at me. She's like, ha ha.
You're like, great.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? She's crazy. A sociopath. Let's get to people what they want.
I'm a robot vacuum cleaner, so yeah, I got one gig. I suck up dirt, so pardon my inferiority complex about Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could they save their customers money on car insurance, but they got fast and friendly claim service too, and an award-winning mobile app. Plus access to licensed agents 24/7. Who am I kidding? I can't even do corners. Uh-oh, choking hazard.
Popcorn kernels.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Everybody was rocking their Lakers jersey yesterday. LeBron James made his Staples Center debut. They had a sellout for a preseason game. Even more than that, in Los Angeles, everybody showed up to the game on time. And in the locker room, the press was crazy. All of this hype and focus and coverage, all surrounding LeBron James and the Lakers. Look at that locker room, Jalen Rose. It looks like the Game 7 of the finals. How does this affect the other players on the team?
So I'm going to get everybody ready for two separate scenarios.
Oh, okay.
It's the scenarios that everything goes terrific and that the Lakers not only become a playoff team, finish in the top 5 in the West, but advance past the first round. And then there's a scenario that this doesn't go so very well. And people like Lance, Rondo, and Beasley, and JaVale McGee don't give the level of productivity that's anticipated. We know that they have some great young prospects. Bear and Ball and Ingram and Kuzma and Hart.
Yeah.
But that dynamic can be combustible. So for me, it's imperative that they get off to a great start.
Well, Magic is already talking about how they're going to get off to a slow start. LeBron's already talking about a slow start. Luke Walton's already talking about a slow start. They've already brought expectations down low, basically saying we are not going to start hot.
They got LeBron now. I bet if he wasn't in tow, if they had the same team from last year, they wouldn't be saying we're going to get off to a good start. They know they got LeBron. So they're doing what you would do, which is smart.
Manage expectations.
Correct. But however, in the West, where seeds number 3 through 9 were only divided by 2 games last year, if you're not getting close to 50 plus wins, you ain't making the playoffs. Nope. And getting off to a slow start does not help that journey.
Here's what's going to happen with the Lakers. This team that they start with is not going to be the team they finish with. They're going to add at least 2 players, and they're going to make at least 1 trade. They're going to pick somebody up off that buyout garbage heap, just like other teams do. Like, they're going to change this roster over the course of the season. And I'm not going to say they're going to do a wholesale change like the Cavs did last year, but you're going to see some movement with Rob Pelinka and this roster. Don't you think so?
There's not as much flexibility as you think, unless you're going to give up one of your assets, your young talent. Because all of the veterans I just named, they're on 1-year contracts. So their roster, in theory, is full. I named basically everybody on their team except KCP and Wagner.
What about Caruso?
And so, like, the other thing I want to point out is their best 5 players, and take this to your friends when y'all talking ball, won't be able to finish games. And when that dynamic takes place, because who are the 5 best players on the Lakers?
Ingram, LeBron, I want to say Lance, but not. Kuzma.
Okay, stop right there.
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna check Anthony Davis?
LeBron?
My point exactly. Who gonna check Boogie?
LeBron?
That's my point. That means either Kuzma or Ingram sometimes gonna be on the bench. That's one. Number 2, who plays point guard for the Lakers?
Well, it's a combination of LeBron, Rondo, and Ball.
Okay, that means either Rondo or Ball ain't gonna be in the game sometime. And imagine what's gonna happen when it's Ball. And somebody puts a microphone in front of one LeVar, who we have not talked about in this dynamic.
LeVar he's tied up to a chair in a basement somewhere in one of LeBron's 2 homes in Los Angeles. So what happened with LeVar?
It's not that anything happened with LeVar.
Look at all those cameras in the locker room, Jalen.
I'm about to give some game. Corporate America decided that they wanted to shut down LeVar Ball from having a voice and from making money for big baller brands.
Who's Corporate America?
So
who's Corporate America?
He's still loud.
Who is Corporate America?
Multimedia decided that they weren't going to interview him anymore to give him the platform to promote him.
See, I think there's a journalistic backlash. After all the overseas stuff, there's a bit of a backlash where people said, our company, people said, you guys are overcovering LeVar Ball. And I think that we reacted by undercovering LeVar Ball.
And it's not just this company. That's why I said corporate America. First off, this man trying to catapult his name into a brand of shoes that many people have had on lock for a really long time.
I've never seen anybody wear a pair of those shoes on.
Okay. And then the other thing he tried to do is actually be a strong figure with a loud voice. And initially, that was something that media wanted to use to get clicks. Now that those happened, they all get together after the fact and say, why are we making him famous? Why are we putting him on TV? Let's not talk about him at all. Matter of fact, let's just ignore him. And that's the phase we're in right now. And that's why I'm happy we're talking about a guy that I still hope adopts me one day.
When you look at that footage from the locker room, in the Staples Center, the Lakers locker room, the idea that there's all this hype surrounding this team and no one's heard from LeVar Ball?
That's
no
my
one's
point.
Heard from him?
My point exactly.
Did he just stop having opinions?
My point exactly. And the other thing is when you see that level of coverage for LeBron James, who's an iconic player, the Los Angeles Lakers, a storied brand, when that marriage happens, you're going to get that level of interest. But that's not going to translate into points on the floor.
Well, let's get back to points on the floor because you made a really good point. You were like, what's going to happen if Lonzo Ball is sitting at the end of a close game? Well, imagine this scenario. What's going to happen if Rajon Rondo is sitting at the end of a close game? Because that is just as combustible. We've seen it happen before with Rondo.
I'm going to give everybody the template to look for. For the Los Angeles Lakers, the dynamic they're going to have to juggle is when you have so many grizzled vets that have accomplished so much and been through so many wars in the game. And then now you give them a short leash. So now when Lance come out there and he start dancing, but all of a sudden he 0 for 2 turnovers, he out the game. So instead of playing 20 minutes, he going to have nights he playing 8 minutes. And so that just goes down the line for Beasley. And all of a sudden, JaVale McGee gets 2 fouls. And in the West, people always talk about it being a guard-heavy league. And it is. You see so many guards now leading their teams in scoring as well as assists. That's what that really means. There are some really productive centers in today's NBA.
Ton.
Don't sleep. Jokic, Nurkic, Boogie,
Gasol,
AD,
Capella, Steven Adams. There's tons.
The list goes on and on and on. And I'm talking about skill bigs like I named. And then you can't put a guy like LeBron on Adams. He'll get punished. And I know people that don't play the game like, what do you mean? Just elbows and just knees.
Yeah.
Just throwing him out of the way for offensive boards. Yeah. He's just too physically imposing for a guy that's played small forward and power guard his whole life. So you're going to have Wagner or McGee in the game.
Zubac.
So one of those guys going to have to play you minutes.
That's unfortunate. Maybe there'll be like
And my guy from Michigan, he's going to be a productive player, but not championship level just yet.
Well, you remember Media Day.
Yep.
Right? And one of the biggest things that came out of NBA Media Day was Kawhi Leonard's laugh. Now, we clowned Kawhi Leonard for this laugh for like 3 days in a row in this show. And everybody else did too. But here's the thing. Kawhi Leonard addressed how everyone addressed his laugh. He says that he doesn't have social media, so he didn't even notice that everyone was talking about his laugh. Do you believe Kawhi Leonard?
I got 3 words for you. I told you. You remember what I said. It's one thing to play in a state. It's another thing to perform for a city. It's a total different thing to perform in a different country.
Jalen.
He knows this was happening. He knows this was happening.
He knew that people were clowning him for the laugh.
But he wasn't immersed in it because right now in Toronto, their goal, besides getting ready for the season, is to retain him long term. So you think on their local radio stations and television programs, they're clowning him?
Is he listening to local radio when he drives home?
No.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Where my homies?
Where they at? Where they at?
Patrick Mahomes is celebrated often on
Creeping
this program.
through the hood.
I mean, he's like an MVP candidate 4 years
Up to
into
no good.
his first year starting quarterback. However, it's not all positive around Patrick Mahomes. He says that his teammates and Andy Reid often clown him for his voice. Let's listen to Patrick.
I love this team and just how we fight. I mean, we hadn't necessarily been tested in this situation yet, and it just showed that every phase of the ball, special teams, defense, and offense, that everybody can step up and everybody can make plays. And I knew we had it, and I'm glad we got to show it for everybody else, and we're going to keep it rolling as the season goes.
So, Jalen, I have a couple rules. One rule is you can be mean if you're funny. Another rule I try to abide by, but I don't always, is I try not to make fun of people for things they can't control. Patrick Mahomes didn't wake up and say, this is what my voice should sound like today. That's just what his voice sounds like. Is it fair for his teammates and his head coach to clown him for his voice?
I'm glad you guys came with this topic.
If you prepared, you would have known we came with this topic.
The day after I said Patrick Mahomes does not look the way he sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys for paying attention.
Is it fair that he gets clowned by his teammates for his voice?
Everything's fair when you're in the locker room.
When you're winning.
Because that's a sanctuary and you know what to say and what not to say. And things get said in there that prepare you for what's going to be said by fans and media. Please believe me.
Okay, I like that. Yes. I like that angle. Jalen Rose, it's time for News That Matters. Jalen Rose, we're both married, so this is going to be hard to hear. Not all wives are loyal to their husbands.
What?
There was one woman who was cheating on her husband. Creeping. They got an Uber. Uber driver pulls up. The two of them get in the back of the vehicle. The Uber driver was her husband.
What?
Scandalous. Jalen Rose, How did she not know that her husband pulled up?
First off, if you're going to be cheating and or creeping, which we're not encouraging in any way, shape, or form, why would you be taking an Uber knowing that your husband an Uber driver?
That's one question. And number two, let's say it was the guy who called the Uber. I'm assuming she didn't recognize the face and the name in her own phone. But when the car pulls up, don't you notice that, that's the same car my husband has?
Correct. And
shouldn't you be looking over your shoulder if you're creeping?
No question. And so since we're going down this road, let me tell all of the young people out there something.
Okay.
Not only does everything you post on social media relay for public consumption, don't think your DMs are private. Don't think that on Twitter or IG. I promise you, they will be getting hacked. And what you're DMing will be getting exposed.
Is there something you need to get off your chest?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
You know what? I didn't get credit cards until I was old. You know why? Because I don't like spending money I don't have. And a lot of people can pile up credit card debt. I mean, I was so old when I had my first credit card that I used to try to rent apartments or whatever. And they'd say, you don't have any credit. Like, you don't have a credit score. And I was like, I'm sorry. Now I'm being punished for paying my bills and not having a credit card. I got punished for that. And a lot of things that happen with credit cards and other types of debt is people carry up a lot of debt. And if you're carrying revolving debt, that means you're not paying off your card every month. You could be paying thousands of dollars in interest every year, and you don't have to. With Lending Club, you can consolidate all of your debt and pay off your credit cards with one fixed monthly payment. Since 2007, Lending Club has helped millions of people regain control of their finances with affordable fixed-rate personal loans. No trips to the bank, no high-interest credit cards. Just go to lendingclub.com. Tell them about yourself and how much you want to borrow. Pick the terms that are right for you, and if you're approved, your loan is automatically deposited into your bank account in as little as a few days. Lending Club is #1 peer-to-peer lending platform with over $35 billion in loans issued. Go to lendingclub.com/J&J. Check your rate in minutes and borrow up to $40,000. Go to lendingclub.com/J&J. That is lendingclub.com/J&J. All loans are made by WebBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Jalen Rose. After the game, head coaches, they have to face the press. And sometimes it's a tense environment. And sometimes you're a little dehydrated. And Ty Lue went to face the press after a preseason game, and here's what happened. He got a glass of water, took a sip of the glass of water, looked at it, took another sip of the glass of water. Jalen Rose, it is a frozen bottle of water. Did he know it was frozen?
Well, I would hope if he has any feeling in his fingers, he would have understood that when he picked it up.
But then he goes back. Like let's look at this. He looks at it, then tries to drink it, then puts it down, and then goes back and tries to drink it again. Is he trolling us?
No,
is he playing with us?
Slept on something he did.
What?
He tried to act like he was getting a little water.
A little tiny drop. Yeah, because we all know there's a little droplet in there.
Yeah.
But then he made the whole thing
but
about
I like
this.
how he said it far away from him.
Yeah,
when
he
put
did.
It down.
He was like, get this thing away from me. He's like, get this thing away from me. Put it all the way over here. I have so many questions. If you are in charge of putting that water there, that's someone's job. And, I'm no belittle anybody's job. That's what their job is. They got to put the water there. Someone's got to put the water there. Someone gets paid to do it. How do you put an ice cube there?
I don't understand.
What did you think was going to happen?
By the way, that person also knew what? It was frozen.
It was frozen.
Maybe that was a road game.
Oh.
How about that?
I think he had the Cavs logo behind him.
Got it.
They're trying to sabotage Ty Lue.
Well, I think
they're trying to sabotage
how
Ty Lue.
about this? Now that he's won a championship with LeBron James in uniform, and he isn't there anymore.
He should be able to get some water that's not frozen.
True. But I think his job in different ways, other than contending and winning championships and having the best player, in different ways, his job got a lot easier now.
I believe so as well. A lot less pressure. Is there anything better than a hot summer day and you get a beer and it's kind of slushy?
I don't love super cold beverages.
I love super cold beverages. All right, let's move on. Jalen Rose, you were a big part of a signature moment in Kobe Bryant's career.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but his 81-point game was against you and the Toronto Raptors. Sometimes people bring it up to you on social media, I've noticed as well. There was another signature moment in his career when this happened. When Matt Barnes was inbounding the ball, he faked throwing the ball at Kobe Bryant. But then there's this new angle. The new angle shows that it was actually off to the side, And it looked more like a ball fake than it was a fake throwing the ball at Kobe Bryant's face. This has changed the way I look at Kobe Bryant. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. This has changed the way I view Kobe Bryant. Why are you shaking your head, Mr. Rose?
You've never seen that done before? As much basketball as you play? Somebody trying to take out the ball and do this?
Yeah, I've seen it done before.
Correct. So I don't understand the hysteria over the play by media and fans. Maybe because I played 20 straight years of basketball. Like, I don't understand why Kobe and him were I was watching that game.
You would flinch. You would flinch if I did that to you. You would.
No, I wouldn't.
You would.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
You know why he didn't flinch? Because I know you're not going to hit me in the face. That's why he didn't flinch. That's
he didn't flinch because it wasn't even in his face.
You just answered my point. I wouldn't flinch because like Kobe, he knew he wasn't going to hit him in the face in an NBA basketball game with the ball. That's why he had his hands down before he even did that.
It's just human instinct.
So, look, what Barnes did was a reaction. Again, I was watching that game, and they were getting into heated altercation. They got tangled up a couple times.
What Barnes does.
They was talking trash. That's how he made a living playing basketball. And so now he go take out the ball. Kobe was standing there nonchalant already. So really, Kobe started it in Barnes' mind. And he was like, dude, that's really what that was about. So I understand that it disappoints a lot of people.
It disappoints me.
That feel like Kobe doesn't have ice water in his veins. I'll guarantee you, he has it in his veins. You start this segment by
better than anybody else.
Yes, he does.
Jalen Rose, it's time for you to take us behind the curtain. Jimmy Butler makes his way onto the rundown for like the 15th straight day. But this is interesting. Take us behind the curtain on this. Jimmy Butler is technically a member of the Timberwolves. But we all know he's not a member of the Timberwolves. But he's using the Timberwolves facility while the Timberwolves are away. Take us behind the curtain. How does he have access? What is the facility like? What's he doing in Minnesota? Is someone working out with him that works for the team? Is this a violation of he clearly doesn't want to play for the team, but still wants the benefits of their facility? Walk me through the whole thing.
It's a professional protocol at play that benefits both parties. If you're the Timberwolves, he's still a member of your squad, and you hope to move him. But you can't do it if you diminish his value. So you hope that he's training. And you want him to be healthy, and you hope that it's happening in your facility so you can monitor it. So he can have his personal trainer, but everybody else in the building are employees of the team.
So when Glenn Taylor or Thibodeau is on a phone, he can say, yeah, he's working out every day. He looks great. We're actually working with him, keeping him in shape. He's ready to go. If you give us Ben Simmons, you can have him and he'll be starting tomorrow.
Because if you saw other video footage and say he was in Miami hanging out with Le'Veon Bell while they were on their West Coast trip.
Might not help trade value.
Correct.
I understand. Jalen Rose, I'm bullish on the Rockets this year. I like Carmelo Anthony on the Rockets. He made his preseason debut yesterday, and he looked pretty good. And then there was this play I found very interesting. Up fakes a three, gets the defender in the air, takes a step in, hits a jump shot. That's exactly what you're taught to do. I was taught to do that when I was like 10 years old. And then on the way back to the bench, he says, my bad, to the coach. Jalen Rose up faked a three, got the defender in the air, made a jump shot, and apologized to the Rockets bench. What is happening with basketball?
Their franchise.
What is happening with basketball?
Is one of the teams at the forefront of the analytics movement led by Daryl Morey. And the philosophy is either shoot the three, take a layup or a dunk, and or find a way to get to the free throw line.
What was wrong with that play?
That play by Melo, one of the greatest scorers that the game has seen, should and needs to continue to happen.
Thank you.
Because he was not on that play able to drive it all the way in. He did make it, and the kick out would not have led to an open shot. The one thing that has happened when you go by that theory, you underestimate the things that come with putting pressure on the defense, like drawing fouls.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the line, guess what you do? Slow down the game. Guess what happens when you slow down the game? They have to take the ball out of the net. Guess what happens when they have to take the ball out of the net? Your defense is set. You get the other guy in foul trouble. So there are things that I understand and agree with as it relates to that movement, but I'm not going to put all of my chips in the middle of the table because of what I just said.
I've watched a lot of Jalen Rose highlights in my day.
That's money right there.
They're all mid-range.
No doubt.
Like, you never took it to the basket, nor did you
I couldn't
shoot
jump
too many
over
threes.
nobody.
Yes, I mean, it's like, it just seems like everything happens in cycles and trends. And it's not going to be just threes and layups for the rest of eternity. And also, if you're scouting a team and you know that they only take threes and layups, you can defend them in a certain way to take away the threes and the layups.
I promise you, if you look back 2 playoff runs ago, not the year Chris Paul got injured, but the year prior to that, when James Harden was invisible in Game 6 when they lost to the San Antonio Spurs.
Yep.
That entire series, and covering that series, I was saying the Spurs suffocated the 3 line.
Mm-hmm.
They literally would have 3 people standing on the line.
Whether you were there or not.
And then the other 2 people were basically guarding the rim.
At the rim. Yeah, I just feel like if you zig, eventually you have to zag. Will this be the year that the Rockets embrace the mid-range shot?
It should be the year where you get the best shot when teams play really good defense, like the Golden State Warriors when they clamp down. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be interesting if he's apologizing for making a bucket when it means the most.
And even those Warriors who discussed in the playoffs, they were posting up KD from about 12 feet. And that's what Carmelo is best at. Give him the ball 15 feet from the basket. He faces up. He puts the ball over his head. He jab steps. He gets to the rim and gets fouled or makes a bucket.
When he was playing with James Harden this offseason, and we joked that they were having more fun after the workout, not only did we see footage of Melo operating on the elbow, James Harden spoke into a microphone and said that's basically where he likes to get his money. And so that's how to use him to his maximum. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think he's going to be a quality fit for them.
I love the Rockets this year. Well, Kevin Durant is already being asked questions about his impending free agency. I didn't expect this to start happening this early, but he could have handled it differently than he did. Here is what he had to say when he was asked about his impending free agency. He said, quote, "Just be honest. I was honest with my decision. But just like outwardly, if people ask me about it, don't be ashamed to talk about why I decided to move teams and switch teams because it's not the end of the world. I didn't do anything against the law, you know what I'm saying? That's what I thought happened the first time." See, if I was Kevin Durant's agent or best friend, I would say, Kevin, just say you're going to stay with the Warriors. Just so that way it'll die down. But now he's saying, I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be open about my decision. Makes it sound like there's a decision to be made, but it makes it sound like he's leaving the door opening to leaving.
I learned not to worry about things people actually say. I pay more attention to what they do. Is that why you don't listen to me?
Oh, okay.
And so all I know is the backlash that he took, not only from fans and media, but from OKC, from Russell Westbrook. Mm-hmm. I don't think he wants to endure that again. Number 2, why would he leave in 2019 when he just won 2 championships and 2 finals MVPs and got put on the stage where he could be the best player for the best team? Now, it would be another thing if it seemed like he was riding their coattail, shot 35%, only averaged 12 points, and then they won 2 championships. And while everybody was celebrating, he was the guy like, oh, even though we won a championship, I'm out here shooting on the court.
Let me ask you a question. 2 scenarios. One scenario, they win their 3rd straight title. 3-peat. Let's say that happens, okay? Second scenario, maybe some injuries, bad year, bad chemistry, bad matchups. They lose in the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. Which scenario makes it more likely for him to leave the Warriors at the end of the year?
Easy money. Second round of the playoffs. Because if the Golden State Warriors get bounced, that means he didn't play really well.
What if it's we won 3 championships in a row, I'm ready for a new challenge? Couldn't you see that happening?
I can't see that happening because for KD, he found a terrific landing spot because he talked about not necessarily wanting to be the leader, not necessarily having to be the guy with all of the pressure in interviews, not even the guy that has to always take the final shot. And so you can't pick a better scenario than what he has in Golden State, especially immediately. Now, when you start looking a handful of years or so, 3 to 5 years down the line, Things change, injuries happen, circumstances around the league take place. But for the most part, I anticipate he's going to be there for the next couple of seasons.
Well, one thing we know about Kevin Durant is he pays attention to social media. Right? And our former colleague and our guy, Tom Havistro, wrote a very interesting piece about how social media has affected and infected NBA players. Right. And it's a very long and thoughtful article. It's just sort of about how social media has really just taken over our conscience as a society, and especially professional athletes that are in the public eye. And there's this one quote from JJ Redick I found really interesting. JJ Redick said, quote, "It's a dark place. It's not a healthy place. It's not real. It's not a healthy place for ego if we're talking about some Freudian bleep. It's just this cycle of anger and validation and tribalism. It's scary, man." He said that he's taken social media off of his phone. Do you think social media is a problem for the modern day athlete?
I don't think it's a problem. I think it's something that you must learn to manage. It has to be what you do, not who you are. You can't be consumed by staring at your phone all day and the information that's going to come back at you in your comments on Instagram and or Twitter and anticipate that they're all going to be positive when you do two things. When you have an opinion and or you play a game where they keep score. People can always move the goalposts on you. And so if you're constantly trying to spit up at God, what did Jay say is going to happen? Get it in the face.
Jalen Rose, not everything is worth discussing in the world of sports and pop culture. So we have a segment. If you want to discuss the topic, you say hit the brakes. If you don't, you say keep it moving, and we'll keep it moving. Are you ready,
cool.
Mr. Rose?
Let's get it.
The Seahawks are in need of a new linebacker. Keep it moving or hit the brakes?
Keep it moving.
Okay.
Jalen been moving up. Jacoby moving. You know we keep it moving up.
John Gruden has some thoughts about Khalil Mack.
Hit the brakes.
John Gruden realized that Khalil Mack has now had a sack and a fumble in 4 straight games, and he was in front of reporters when he learned this information, and he was shocked by it. What does that tell you about where John Gruden's head's at?
Well, a couple of things. Like, there is something to be said for coaches, not only in college football and the NFL, who seem to live in this level of isolation where they're only focused on their team, they're only focused on the moment, they're only focused on the next game. That happens. But since he's the coach of the Oakland Raiders, and they traded arguably the best defensive player in the game, he clearly has to know how he's doing in his new situation.
I'm starting to feel bad for John Gruden. It's obviously gotten off to a bad start in Oakland. And here's the thing. He's just like, look, I just got here. I want to tailor this roster to my strengths. I want to have some flexibility when it comes to the salary cap. I don't want to tie up all of our money on this one defensive player, albeit a great defensive player, but I want to have some flexibility when it comes to the roster next year. I want to sort of make this my team. I feel like that's what was going on in his head. And now, after some losses, some bad losses, the perception is that John Gruden made a whole mess of the Oakland Raiders situation. But I understand his thinking. Do you feel bad for John Gruden?
I got love for him personally, but in this dynamic, I don't, because it's all about identity. And what the Raiders did, and it's going to be interesting to see if it comes back to bite some other teams, when you invest that level of finance in the quarterback position, because they did give Carr $100 million, like my Lions did for Matthew Stafford. We saw this happen with Joe Flacco. It's tough to build your roster out. Khalil Mack defensively gave you an identity. He is the lead at his position, unlike Carr. And therefore, Mitchell Trubisky all of a sudden looks like a new player. Did he have 6 touchdown passes this past weekend?
Who knows who Mitchell Trubisky is?
Correct.
Let's move on. Keep it moving. Major League Baseball is being a little bit self-aware and having some fun with themselves. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
You know what? For this one, I want to hit the brakes.
Oh, you want to hit the brakes? Oh, that's nice. Well, Major League Baseball came out with an advertisement that sort of pokes themselves, a little fun at themselves and the unwritten rules that they live by and being against bat flips and being so traditional. Do you think this is a step forward for Major League Baseball to earn some younger fans?
Major step forward, and the thing I appreciate the most about it is, one, it was done on social media. For those that don't understand how baseball operates, they really don't share clips in that space which is almost archaic. Number 2, the person that they had do it, Junior, King Griffey, who was only criticized for, let me see, what did he do so bad when he played? Oh, he had the nerve to wear his hat backwards.
Jalen Rose, there's some online images that have leaked of some special alternate Miami Heat uniforms. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving.
Jalen been moving
They're
up.
pink.
Jacoby moving.
That's basically the story.
We keep it moving up.
I like the Miami Vice ones.
Apple has some brand new emojis. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
You know what? I probably should get in front of this. Hit the brakes.
You want to hit the brakes?
Yeah.
Wait a second. You want to get in front of this? So Apple is releasing a brand new sort of like line of emojis. They're always coming up with new emojis, right? You say that you don't use emojis, right?
The only people that I've used emojis with are my wife and my daughters.
Okay. That's a lie.
Oh, and 100.
Then you use the 100 emoji in basically every single text.
Gotcha.
You do use emojis.
That's the one I use.
Every single, instead of a period at the end of a sentence, you write 100. Even if you're disrespecting me, you're like, yo, you're late. Where are you at? 100. It's like, no, that's not 100. Moving on. An NBA player called himself unguardable.
Hit the brakes.
A gentleman by the name, me and you know who he is. He had a great year last year. Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie, maybe the most notable player on the Nets, said that he's unguardable. Do you see this as just confidence of a professional athlete, or is this sort of a violation? You should kind of like, until you're up in that upper echelon, all NBA, all-star level, you probably shouldn't say something like this.
See, this is the difference in like basketball versus sports that are fatally physical, like football, like MMA, because in theory, this ideology is what you need to perform, but failing isn't painful.
Oh, okay.
So I can feel in my mind that whoever's the defensive player of the year is in front of me. It's a 50-50 chance when I shoot the ball, in theory, whether it's going to go in or not. It's almost like a true or false. So I have no problems with an NBA player that is really good offensively.
A lot of people, if you're just a casual NBA fan, you don't know about Spencer Dinwiddie. He was
He's tall enough, he's long enough, he handles enough, he can shoot enough, he can finish at the hoop.
I might be a Dicey Nets fan.
I'm not mad at him saying it.
I might be a Dicey Nets fan.
I support this.
Finally, the man behind a recent rash of celebrity home break-ins got caught.
Oh, yeah, you got to hit the brakes.
Or hit the brakes.
You definitely got to hit the brakes.
Okay, this dude who robbed Yasiel Puig, allegedly, I got to say allegedly for the journalists, robbed Yasiel Puig multiple times, robbed Rihanna, and robbed Robert Woods, all in Los Angeles, robbed a bunch of celebrities in Los Angeles. Do you know how he got caught?
How you get caught?
The police pulled him over. He had items from all of these people's homes in his car. What is he doing?
Well, he probably was just coming from a robbery.
But still, why do you have one from a robbery 2 weeks ago sitting in your trunk?
I would deem that somebody that needs to rob other individuals probably doesn't have a place to store those items. He may be living out of the car.
Do you know what the problem is? He's 19 years old. He doesn't know you.
There you go.
That's really what it is.
No, it's not that. Can't take him home. Cannot take him home.
Oh, you think he still lives with his parents?
There you go.
You know what I think is? I think he's kind of a fan. Like, I think he could break into other people's houses, but he likes breaking into celebrities' houses because he likes looking around. That's what I think.
Well, you ain't a fan if you break in.
Anybody ever broke into your house?
No.
You've never had someone break into your house?
No. And I've heard that 95% of break-ins occur either by somebody that physically has been there or knows somebody that's been inside your place.
Okay, joining us, Damian Woody. He just pops by.
Bruh man.
Yeah, bruh man from the fifth floor.
Bruh man from the fifth floor is here. Isaiah Crowell. We all remember his celebration. It was disgusting, frankly. I thought it was corny when he pretended to wipe his behind with the football.
Right.
On the road. Here's what happened. Now he's getting paid. He is now got a endorsement with a brand product called Dude Wipes. I don't need to explain to you what Dude Wipes are. It says it all right there in the title. This to me is rewarding bad behavior. I thought the celebration was corny. I think this whole endorsement is corny. I do not support this. How do you feel?
It's the American way. It really is. Listen, you think about it from Isaiah Crowell, you get fined, and now you make it. You can negate the fine by getting an endorsement deal. That's just, we see this all the time. We see these type of things happen all the time in sports. So I'm happy for dude.
Me too.
Because I never want to see people get fined and get money taken from them. So
I'm rolling with D Wood on this one because so many people do things like this, but they actually don't get paid for it. Like T.O. with the Sharpie or popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, I would have thought that he would have been able to cash in on that. So for this to happen, I ain't mad at it at all.
I thought the celebration was corny.
No, I agree with that.
To me, it was just kind of gross.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have, thought of something better. But the fact that he's making a come up, sure. I'm rolling with it.
You have to get me some dude whites.
I have to say this. I think as a whole, the celebrations have been
tame.
They've been tame.
Yeah.
I thought they would be better when they started making celebrations happen, but they're all pretty corny.
I want to ask you this. I'm glad you're here. So what I've learned about the celebrations, I'm seeing a lot of team photos. Are guys sometimes too tired to actually be doing all of that? Because I would be.
No, man. I'm like, no, that's like the turn up time right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
not only on scores,
but you know what, big fellas, we don't get a chance to like relish in that. So I would love to have the opportunity to participate in stuff like that. The small guys, they get so many opportunities, but these guys got to be more creative.
That's what I'm saying.
Like last year, there was a lot of like celebrations like, okay, all right, y'all put some work into that. Mm-hmm. This year, it's just all about, well, everybody just take a picture.
Right.
Like, come on, fellas.
And Khalil Mack doing LeBron to get down, lay down.
Yeah,
Khalil Mack has a lot of opportunities. You got to come up with some more new ones because he's been getting a strip sack every single game. All right, Celtics head coach Brad Stevens, after 3 preseason games, had this to say, quote, I couldn't be more unimpressed after our first 3 preseason games. We got a lot of work to do. That's pretty clear. Jalen Rose. Does he mean this?
He means it.
Does he really mean this?
Yeah, he does.
He's upset with his team's performance after 3 preseason games.
Well, I actually watched him play a couple of those games, not the entire game, just some clips. And the one thing I noticed about their team is he's going to have a juggling act to keep everybody happy.
They're deep.
Like, they made the conference finals without their starting backcourt, and then the 2 people that was playing in their place, Rozier became a household name, Scary Terry, and then they re-signed Marcus Smart. So those guys ain't going to all of a sudden just be happy playing 10, 12 minutes a game. So he going to need them to play faster and more efficient.
So, D-Wood, can you have unhappy players on a winning team? Like, well, let's say they're going to play well. They got the Eastern Conference competition. They're going to get wins. But do you think there'll be a bubbling underneath the surface of people being unhappy even though they're getting wins?
I think so, because I think like basketball and football are different. I think football is more of like a team game, but basketball, you're talking about individuals, and these cats, they want their shine out there. And like you said, Jalen, the fact that these guys that weren't really dependent upon last year, towards the end of the season, they start shining. They're not going to want to be relegated to a different role. They're going to want to get their points. They're going to want to be out there in front. So I don't know how the Boston Celtics are going to be able to
juggle this. It is a little different because they hand you a stat sheet. You know what I mean? So at the end of the game, they hand you a stat sheet. You look down at that, and they quantify your performance. They say, this is how many assists and points and rebounds. Not just that, this is how many minutes you played. And that's different than football. It's a little bit more of a team thing where it's like, what's the score on the scoreboard? Did we win? Right. Whereas they don't hand out a stat sheet saying this is how many minutes you played. It doesn't really translate like that.
And also in basketball, the things that you're able to do well, you're able to do them regardless of the score. So what ends up happening is if you drop a play for Kyrie Irving to take the last shot and he miss, everybody else going to be in the car with their family. Like, he should have gave the ball to me.
Right.
So that is going to be more of a dynamic that they have to try to figure out as well.
I also feel like it's an expectations thing because the Celtics are expected to win the Eastern Conference. They're expected to somewhat pretty easily be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So he's going to say he's not happy. Whereas if you are Luke Walton with the Lakers, you can focus more on the positive because the expectations aren't up here. You know what I mean? I think he's just kind of managing expectations a little bit. Also, like, Kyrie Irving needs a haircut. That's another thing I was watching the Celtics. Another thing with watching the Celtics, I was just like, Kyrie Irving needs a haircut for sure. Who do you think threatens the Celtics in the Eastern Conference, D-Wood?
I would say I think Toronto. I think Toronto's the team. You know, obviously they were the number 1 seed last year. You bring Kawhi into the mix. Kawhi, to me, when he's healthy, is a top 3 player in the league. So that's the only team I see. But to me, the Celtics are just too deep. They running like 8, 9.
Yeah, they 10 deep.
Yeah, somehow Jalen made it a problem. Jalen's like, the biggest problem they have is they got too many good players.
Correct.
Like seriously, like you're talking about
you
that.
got to manage that. That's something to manage. Where the other team, I'm going to say, is Philly, where they won't have to manage that. Because we know who their guys are. Embiid, Simmons, hopefully get something from Fultz.
Every Wednesday we celebrate women on the show, so we take all female callers like this one.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby. This is Michelle. Long time, first time, all the way back 7 years plus. First of all, Reggie, keep getting those checks. I have a general question. I know this is in the dating program, but I really do want to hear some feedback about this. So I have been talking to someone on Instagram. I slid into their DMs about 6 months ago, and I've been talking to them ever since. I live in North Cal. I'm formerly from Houston, and he is from the New York area. He's now coming over to Cali for work business, and I have never met him before. So the question is, would you meet someone that you have never met on Instagram if you talk to them for more than 6 months? Thank you. Once again, keep getting those checks. Bye.
I love our program so much.
I mean, what's the point of talking to somebody for 6 months if you're not going to meet them in person?
Wait, is this what y'all do? Like every like this is,
you can get used to this, right?
We give the people what they want. Right. So she slid in his DMs. He lives 3,000 miles away. He's coming to Cali for work, and she's like, "Should I meet up with him?" Of course you should, but you got to do your research first.
Like, I need some pictures. I need something.
You can't get Manti-Teo'd out.
Nah,
catfished.
No, you're not going. I'm not going to just meet up without. I need to see some evidence.
See, I can do some online research. You got to find out who they're tagging in the photos. Does that person have photos of them too? Are they a real person? Like, you have to Google them, find out where they work. You have to find out all their personal information, confirm they are the person that they say they are, and then you consent to a meeting. But really, you're wasting your time if you're not going to meet somebody. You're talking to them for 6 months. Like, what's the point?
Well, I got to say the most important thing, and I don't mean to be quote-unquote Debbie Downer here. What's her name again? Our good friend that called? Michelle, thank you for the call. We appreciate the love.
Shout out.
And the support. You got to make sure he ain't in a relationship.
That's a good point. Because when you
get
on the phone,
you say when you're doing a work trip.
Yes.
So y'all been talking for 6 months.
People feel like when they cross state lines, like lost owners don't apply.
Hey, he ain't found a way to get out there yet.
I ain't trying to put myself out there like that, but usually when you take these like quote unquote work trips, whatever, you trying to. When
people cross state lines, they feel like a whole different set of rules applies.
So what you got to do, like Jacoby said, you got to go back through his social media, and a lot of people do this.
D-Wood, Jalen, hold on. She called back and left us a follow-up voicemail. Ooh. Let's listen to Michelle.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby again. This is Michelle. I just called about the Instagram question, and I realized I probably should give you more information for you to give an objective opinion. So first of all, I have been talking to him for 6 months, which is what I mentioned. Second of all, we talk almost every day. He knows my full name. He knows where I work. I have given him information that is relatively personal. I have not done anything or texted him anything inappropriate. So with that in mind, if you somehow got a message, if you weren't married, of course, congratulations, Jalen, on the recent marriage. If you got a message from Instagram from someone or any sort of social media and you talked to them for more than 6 months, would you feel comfortable about meeting them for a potential date? Thank you again. Thanks, Reggie, for allowing me the extra time, and have a great day.
The plot thickens for me.
She's like, he knows where I work. I gave a lot of personal information.
Wow, that's the first thing I thought about.
It didn't sound like a two-way street.
Well, here's the thing I have to say.
He definitely got a girl.
If they've been talking for 6 months, each day She didn't say the most important thing. She didn't say FaceTime.
FaceTime?
Right.
Okay, if he's not FaceTiming you, he live with somebody.
It's 2018.
He live with somebody.
Here's the thing. This is what I would do. If I'm in that situation, I'm like, let's jump on FaceTime at night. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's how you get. That's how you can snuff them out. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
No question
He's
about
only doing scheduled FaceTimes. He's not picking up any non-scheduled FaceTimes. When you just hit him out of nowhere with the FaceTime, he's not picking those up.
8:33.
Yeah, he's not picking those ones up. He's picking up these ones text hey, can you FaceTime right now? Those are the ones that he's picking up. He's not picking up. He's not picking up the random FaceTime.
Michelle, I hate to say it, it sounds like he's in a relationship.
He's in a relationship.
Yep. That's what I would think.
But should she meet up anyway? Maybe. If that's what you're into.
No. Because all she's gonna do is get her feelings hurt at that point.
Yeah, it sounds like they on two different, two different paths.
I feel bad for Michelle all of a sudden.
And we're guys saying this. So that's what I appreciate about our program. So call us with your dating advice. Call us about your relationships. Call us about anything.
Michelle, you deserve better.
Yeah, you deserve better.
You deserve
Michelle.
better.
You deserve better.
Date somebody doesn't live
and you in
3,000 miles
Cali?
away. Yeah.
It's long. And here's the other thing you set yourself up for, Michelle. A long distance relationship.
It's tough.
If he couldn't get out there to see you in 6 months and y'all talk every day.
And the only reason he's going out there is for work, too. He wasn't let me get on the plane, pay my own money. He's like, I just happened to be in California, so now I'll holler at you.
Yep. So he in Cali 213
numbers. If he was really about Michelle, he would have gotten some miles together, borrowed some money or something, and flown out there to see you.
Yep. Keep us posted on how that go down.
Yeah, I'd love to know. Let's listen to another female voice.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby. This is Hillary from Alaska. Shout out, Reg. So 2 things for you guys. 1, don't you dare take away the intro to the pod. It sets my mood for my whole day, and it would just completely throw me off without it. And 2, I have a cultural or regional. Jiffy cornbread. To me, if it's not Jiffy, it's not cornbread. But my other half says differently. So, let me know. Love you guys. Keep getting them checks.
D Wood was shaking his head.
Okay.
Let D Wood cook.
Let me cook right now. Listen, being from the South, when you talk about corn, if it's not Jiffy, I ain't having any of it. I'm not having any of it.
So cultural, regional.
No, I think it's both. To be honest with you,
cultural and regional.
Yeah, because black folks from the South. Jiffy?
Never heard of Jiffy cornbread in my life.
Oh my God!
Just never heard of it in my life.
Hold on. Wait,
Jiffy peanut butter?
Are you from New York?
I'm from Massachusetts, lived in New York for a very long time.
Okay, then that explains it. That explains
Never heard of Jiffy
never
cornbread in my life. Don't even know what it looks like.
In the blue and white box?
Why you look at me like I got 4 heads? Never heard of this in my life.
Dog, you don't know what you're missing
Look
out
at Kayla.
Kayla thinks I'm lying. I've just never heard of it. I've never heard of it in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Jay, you know about
no
that.
Doubt.
Yeah, you know
never
about
heard
that
of Jiffy cornbread.
So this clearly cultural.
It's
It's
clearly
cultural
is.
and regional because Red's never heard of it either.
Red's
never heard of it either.
Hillary's
from Alaska.
She's from Alaska. That's what throwing me off a little bit. The fact that she's from Alaska.
I don't know. This has got everybody twisted. I don't know what Jiffy cornbread is. Our black producer doesn't know what Jiffy cornbread is. One of our white producers does know what Jiffy cornbread is. Because I don't know what's happening. I'm all over the map on this one.
Because I think it's not something that people eat on the East Coast is where I'm getting.
Right.
Just like you guys don't really, quote unquote, love college football. I just think that region of the country, y'all kind of miss it. But it's still happening. And it's the best. Tell them how good it is.
Man, dog, let me tell you something. Okay.
Cornbread's overrated.
I put jelly on my
everything
on my Jiffy cornbread.
Butter dripping.
Yeah, does it have
butter
the corn
dripping
in there? I like the cornbread that has actual corn
I'll
inside.
melt the butter like popcorn and pour it on there.
I'll have my wife whip it up and bring you some just so you can experience it.
I'm good. I'm good. You save your time. Cornbread's overrated. It's all dry. I want to thank everyone for calling in. Alaska, Hillary, Michelle, our earlier caller. Appreciate it. I want to thank D Wood for coming by in the studio, popping in. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Anytime.
We'll be back tomorrow. Why is that, Reg?
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.
Speaking of the Hobbits, let's talk about LeBron James. So, of course, we were so very honored that we had the Podfather on yesterday.
Loved having the Podfather.
And the great thing about being around friends and family is they call you on your nonsense. And it was great to snatch the term pre-agency and use it like it was mine.
It is yours now.
It's great.
It's yours now.
And our great production staff pulled it up when the Podfather was here and showed me using it unapologetically.
Oh, what's going to happen now?
But the Podfather, and please at him. I'm saying this on the pod for the Podfather on purpose because each one of y'all pull out your phone right now and at him. I want to show you something that he said on our show yesterday that somebody else tweeted a couple of days ago. And he used a comparison of Patrick Mahomes being like Steph Curry was for the NBA.
Oh, don't do this.
But guess who tweeted it a couple of days ago?
Cassidy Hubbard. I saw that.
Cassidy Hubbard.
But here's the thing. There's no such thing as an original idea. I say this all the time. There is no such thing as an original idea. It can happen that Cassidy Hubbard and Bill Simmons both have these ideas independently. You think he plagiarized that intentionally from Cassidy Hubbard?
Or, like I used pre-agency, maybe he saw it and was like, I like that. I'm going to take it. And before you know it, he was on television saying it without giving her any credit. So what I need to know is, did she tweet this before he said it on his podcast or on this show?
Yes.
Because I follow both of them.
She did. She tweeted it before he said it, but that doesn't mean that he took it from her.
Well, he wasn't the first person in the world to use the term for pre-agency, but I'm giving him credit for it. Matter of fact, he didn't even he got it from somebody else. A user gave it to him. So if I'm going to fall on the sword for taking pre-agency without crediting him, I want to know who said it first.
Cass said it first. But
we got to get Cassidy on the show.
Well, let's get Cassidy on the show.
Shout out